I'm Orel Hershiser, and I am on Blue Review.
Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bump, bump, bump.
Really late on the pop
This is
bombs today.
crazy. Stereo in my ears. Pew 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 pew.
Greg's got a little bit of an echo issue, so we're gonna see how this works today. If he starts talking really slowly, or repeats himself, or just all of a sudden quits, you kind of know what's going on today.
It might be the latter. See, this is crazy. It might be the latter, Marcus.
All right, sweet. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcas Grant. That is Greg Bergman. Back in Narnia after broadcasting from home yesterday, aka the Pizza Hut content studio.
Yes.
We're joined by our friend and co-conspirator, Anthony Witrado, in just a bit. But the Dodgers get a series win against the Mariners. They finish off a 6-2 victory on Thursday night. So we'll talk about that and more. But first, actually, we always start the show with the intro, and it always says, I'm Orel Hershiser, and I'm on the Blue Review. Congratulations to Orel Hershiser, who's getting a star on the Hollywood Walk
Amazing.
of Fame. It's going to be, I don't know if you saw the details, Greg, it's going to be located at 6755 Hollywood Boulevard, and there's a reason for that. I don't know if you saw the reason.
The 55, I understand. The 67,
Yes.
is that when he was born?
The 67, it's it's a
60.
combination of the 59 scoreless innings he had in the regular season with the 8 scoreless innings he put together in the postseason. So 60,
I love
59
it.
plus 8 gets you 67.
That's amazing. Really excited about that. It was congratulations to Orel Hershiser. Yeah, you go.
Anyway, the Blue Review is powered by LAX. From practice to prime time, the all-electric LAX Skylink is being put through its paces and testing, getting ready to deliver reliable and traffic-free airport experience. All right, let's bring in our friend, joins us weekly here on the show, Anthony Witrado, who I don't believe is having echo problems. How are you feeling this morning, Anthony?
Greg is still with us. 2 minutes through. That feels like a win at this point.
It feels
Yes.
like a win to me too, Anthony. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
The Dodgers win 6-2 last night. Anthony, I think the story of the game, at least for the first 5 innings, was Roki Sasaki, who continues his run of really great starts since the All-Star break. I don't know what they figured out. I don't know what Roki has figured out, but he looks like a new man compared to the guy that we saw way back in spring training in the early part of the season.
Yeah, sometimes you don't get those like real answers on, what changed or what clicked until after the season. I know they've sort of talked about it. He sort of talked about it, but we haven't gotten a real answer on what was the thing? Maybe it's the bigger glove, right? That makes his face look smaller. Who knows? But yeah, look, he there were through those first 4 innings. I mean, he looked dominant. He ran into some trouble. The Paez slip in center field didn't help him much, but couldn't get out of that inning. The line score ends up looking fine because the pen picked him up, but encouraging again. And that's 3 starts in a row coming out of the break where you look at him and you go, man, okay, like he could be a piece. He's not going to be in the rotation in October, but I think that when he's throwing the ball the way he's throwing it, you can find a place for him in the bullpen. When it counts the most, for sure.
I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Greg, that, definitely we know he's not going to be starting in the playoffs, especially once everybody's healthy, which it looks like that. But, I mean, long term, obviously, the Dodgers brought him in with the expectation that he would be a cornerstone, or at least a big part of the rotation for years to come. Are we starting to see that guy that they brought out of Japan a year or two ago?
Yeah, I'm taking off my headphones so I don't hear this and be able to talk. This does feel like the guy that we're looking to have come out here. He seems to have found something, and it's not just one start. This is now 3 or 4 starts where he's looking like, okay, this guy knows what he is doing on a regular basis. Actually, it's the third, but because he was throwing that high velocity against the Yankees and against the Mets, he was throwing the splitter and the slider over and over again. And in this one, he kind of mixed between the two. He was getting the velocity close to 100 and hit it a couple of times, and he's throwing the splitter and slider. That splitter was fantastic last night. Now he did kind of fall off a little bit in the 6th inning, and that's okay. But especially if he's going to be going to the bullpen, unlike Eric Lauer, where you're bad in the beginning at the beginning and good at the end, he's being good at the beginning and a little bit at the end. So if you're coming out of the bullpen, that's exactly what you need. If he gives us 3 innings or something like that in the postseason, that's exactly what you want. I mean, you can start to finally see he's putting it out there over and over again now. Like, this is what you bought when you brought me in. This is why you gave me the contract. This, even though it was minor league, this is why you brought me over here. Roki is starting to look like Roki, and that's fantastic. I'll put these back on.
Yeah, no, it's been great to watch the development there, right? And maybe it is the glove. I don't know. Maybe I think realistically, it's like Dumbo and the feather, right? Like Dumbo thought he could fly because he had the feather. When the feather went away, he realized, oh wait, I can actually fly because I have these gigantic ears. Maybe there's something about it. I don't know. But
that was
that
was just fantastic.
It's what happens when you have a 7-year-old kid. Like, you come up with these references. I mean, maybe it is the glove. I think realistically, it's something else. It's something either in his actual, mechanical delivery, or it's just something mental where he's deciding to attack the strike zone more and started to get more swing and miss. He's obviously, the velocity has definitely gone up, and so whatever it is, though, we're definitely happy to have it, and hopefully it sticks around for a while, because that's always been the challenge, right? Is to get those starts. Now it's putting them back to back. He's done that 3 times in a row. And so that is a positive. Other part of last night, Anthony, no Shohei in the lineup, giving him a night off, probably much deserved. I know we've kicked around the idea of, does he need an IL stint, with this and that, whatever. Feels like the night off was definitely earned. Your concern levels, I think of all of us here, you have probably been the least concerned. Not that we've been panicked, but your concern level about the knee and the bicep and all the other Shohei ailments that we've heard about in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I thought, we take all of the updates on injuries with a grain of salt from this team, but it was encouraging, to me at least, when Andrew Friedman came out and said, look, the bicep thing came up. Don't pay too much attention to that. It's the knee that is keeping him off the mound. If the knee was healthy completely and the bicep was the only sort of lingering thing, he'd be pitching. They had not ever really said that about the knee, aside from, like, if this was October, he'd be pitching. So that made me feel a little bit better about the severity of some of this, this other stuff. The knee, I continue to be a believer that if it was really that bad, they would not be letting him hit. They would have just IL'd him. He wouldn't be trying to stretch singles into doubles. He wouldn't be trying to sniff out hits on the infield by busting it down the line to first. Those kinds of things tell me that, like, sure, they're concerned, but they don't think he's damaging it by going out there and hitting. Got the day off yesterday. Now, if he sits out 2 games over the course of this weekend series, my level of concern goes up. But right now, it's about the same. I think that, this is just a way for them to, one, get the knee better, because there is an issue there, but also I think probably just save some bullets for the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal is being ready for October. We know that without a doubt. What happens now, especially a 12-game lead, they got the best record in baseball by a game and a half over Milwaukee. These next couple of weeks are really inconsequential for this team, and it is about making sure that Shohei is healthy and ready to go for when the real lights come on in October, which is what this team is playing for right now. Back to last night, though, Greg. Dalton Rushing is really, seems like he's really settling in as the starting catcher there. And obviously, we're not totally sure about when Will Smith is going to come back. I know I've read that he's pain free and he's starting to maybe do some baseball activities again. we've been to this point and then something happens and we seem to have a setback. But in the meantime, it does feel like Dalton Rushing is actually starting to get comfortable in Will's spot there behind home plate.
Which thankfully, yeah, he is. It's really nice to see, and also, the dude's got power. You know that you can see it from him. He is a very good player. He's a major league player. He's a major league starting catcher on a lot of teams, not just the Dodgers. So the fact that he's starting to look like he should do when he plays, I think I heard them saying that this is the first time he's played 3 games in a row for I think in a month. So that's also a good thing. The fact that he can go in there game in and game out, handle this pitching staff. They're winning every series. Dalton Rushing has looked very, very good. Now, he's still going to have his little things where he tells people to get back on the base or something stupid like that. That I don't think that's stupid. People get upset about those stupid things. Like, it's like, let him do whatever he wants, but as long as he's not causing an issue within the clubhouse. But he has power. He can get on base. He is somebody that can be extraordinarily helpful when it gets to the postseason. I'm going to be interested to see what he does in the postseason. Like, how much he plays? Because if Will Smith is healthy, he's there every single day. So it's going to be interesting how much Dalton Rushing plays, or if he's just kind of a backup, because he's been helping this team throughout.
One thing that I do hope is that Dalton Rushing is getting some cut from whatever John Boy makes off of all their tweets and IG posts about him. Like, he deserves some royalties because I think he's brought them quite a few views and clicks so far this season. But it does beg the question, Anthony, do the Dodgers, even if it's a minor league sort of situation, do you think they bring in some catching help for the rest of this season, playoffs, just as an insurance in case something does not go right with Will Smith?
I do think they're going to be on the market for it. If they do something, I think it would be fairly minor. I think the current, with Will Smith back, I think the current trio that they have, they're fairly comfortable with. And obviously Rushing as Will Smith's backup once Will Smith is healthy. I think they're okay with it, so I don't think they feel as desperate as maybe they did a couple of weeks ago. And I think Alonso's kind of proven that he can handle it in spot starts and things like that. So they are shopping and they are looking for something like that, but they're not the only team oddly looking for backup catching. It's kind of a weird market for it. And obviously there's not a ton of those guys that are worth trading for. And so, they're sort of one of a handful of teams looking at like, 1 or 2 guys that are realistic possibilities to stick on the major league roster. So hopefully it becomes much more less of a need within the next few weeks.
That's sort of the hope, right? Is that Will Smith gets healthy, that they continue to see his progress in getting back on the field. That's all we can really hope for. I think, Greg, we're going to find out a lot about what this team thinks about the health of its stars based on what they do by Monday, right? I mean, they've got a few days before they really have to pull the trigger on anything. But I think if we see an extra catcher show up, I think that is a little bit of a red flag about Will Smith. I mean, how much are you watching not only the trade rumors, but using that as to keep an eye on any potential injury situations in the clubhouse?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. I was talking about with Mason Ireland yesterday. If they go out and get a catcher of high caliber, somebody that can be a factor in the postseason, then there's something that's going on with Will Smith. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's just been something that they were kind of just holding him off, getting him off his feet for quite some time. And there was next stuff, but it's going to be something that will give you a little extra time so you're nice and healthy. But if they go out and get somebody, and I know they're not going to get this guy, so just hold off. But if they get somebody like Hunter Goodman from Colorado, that means that they need somebody that is actually going to play and have some power, be successful in the postseason. If they go out and get a Ben Rortvedt type, it's not obviously him, then it's just trying to get a little bit of depth, that somebody that they can put down in the minor leagues and then continue with and have some more organizational depth at catcher. So I think it's going to be really interesting what they do with that spot. If they do nothing, that also is very telling. I think eventually they're going to have to start bringing in some minor league catchers. But it's also the Skubal thing for Shohei. Like, if getting Tarek Skubal and if everybody's healthy, who goes to that bullpen? Are you putting Tyler Glasnow in the bullpen? Because you only get 4 guys: Yamamoto, Shohei, Snell, and Glasnow. If you get Tarek Skubal, that's 5. Like, those are all 5 number 1 starters. So it's going to be very telling what they do at the trade deadline for how they feel about people.
Obviously, Skubal is the big prize for a lot of teams in this trade deadline. It's almost a foregone conclusion now, right? The Tigers have been playing poorly for much of the season. They've pretty much fallen. I mean, I think mathematically they're still involved in the race, but there's so many teams they got to jump over to get to the wild card that it just doesn't seem realistic. So we know people want Skubal. But Anthony, a question that we talked about this a little bit with Katie Wu earlier in the week. Greg and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Eric Lauer has become an interesting name in the sense that there are definitely, I think, there's interest in him. I think you could go and get some prospects back for him. But he's pitched so well. Is there a thought that maybe the Dodgers hang on to Eric Lauer and see what they can get out of him, at the end of the season and into the playoffs, just because he's been such a revelation for this team?
Yeah, look, I think that he's filling a real need for them right now. Sorry, my daughter is yelling at me from the other room.
Hi, what's her name?
Yeah, Jalen.
Jalen, hello.
Yeah, she has morning needs apparently.
We all do.
So I think that if he can continue to give them that, it's what they're asking for, because he's not only solidified a spot in the rotation, but he's given them the luxury of really slow playing things like Snell's recovery, Glasnow's recovery. And I've said it before on our show at Dodger Blue. I think that if, like, let's say Blake Snell, because he's the closest, if he pitched for another organization, the Padres, the Phillies maybe, I think he'd be in the rotation already. And I think the Dodgers, because of Lauer's success, have been able to just sort of, flatten out that curve to a guy like him coming back into the rotation. And it really has, I think, helped them. And look, I do think that they start fielding calls from him and be like, yeah, we figured something out with this guy. He's actually pretty effective. What do you got? And maybe they end up with the lottery ticket for him, because they got him basically for nothing. So this is just, when people talk about the salary cap stuff, like they tend to ignore, probably on purpose, and some of it is just, I think, ignorance, that the Dodgers do things like this often.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of the thing. I mean, that was the thing, Greg, that Katie said the other day, right? That he's your run-of-the-mill Dodger reclamation pitching project, the guy that was just kind of tossed aside, right? I mean, we looked at it the other day. The splits were just disgusting, right? An ERA of like 6.5 with the Blue Jays, and he's been lights out ever since he got here. You made the point too. I honestly, Greg, I had totally forgotten about the Noah Syndergaard era. I think I had just blacked it out or something. I don't remember that he was kind of the one guy that didn't quite work out for the Dodgers when it came to trying to figure out pitching. But yeah, I know, Greg. I think this is a conversation we'll have again. The big problem, air quotes, is going to be for Dave Roberts to figure out who's in the bullpen, who's in the rotation. There's going to be somebody down there that's a really good arm that's going to end up getting cut for October, because there's just not going to be enough space for everybody.
Yeah, you're only going to probably carry 13 pitchers. You would think it's either 13 or it's either 13 hitters or 13 pitchers. You get 25. So at that point, it's going to come down to, you have to have bullpen. I mean, we've seen what this bullpen has looked like over the last week, that they're not all that great. So can you keep that many starting pitchers? It's going to be really interesting what he does. Sheehan immediately goes. Wroblewski will obviously go. Roki is going to have to go. There's just not room for all of these guys. It's great first world problems and only Dodger problems, to be honest with you. But there's just too many guys to fit into this rotation, and you can have your 6-man rotation during the season, but when it gets to crunch time, I have no idea what they're going to do. It's really going to be about who is pitching the best and who they feel can move to the bullpen the easiest. And we've seen it. I do love the fact that we've seen it 2 different ways for this team to win championships, where the bullpen was the big piece of it that made it all happen, the bullpen dogs. And then last year was all the starting pitchers becoming bullpen pieces, that you can have a little bit of both.
Yeah, they figured out a way to kind of cobble things together. Very curious to see what happens as they make this run for a third straight World Series title. Tonight, start a 3-game series at home against the Boston
Huge
Red
series.
Sox. The red hot Boston Red Sox, and I say that with a shrug because Anthony, I was looking at their game logs recently, and look, all credit to them. They're playing well. They're winning games. It also hasn't necessarily been a murderer's row of teams that they have been running through lately. I mean, if you're going back through their recent schedule and they had the long winning streak, I mean, it was, let's go through who were they? The Angels, the White Sox, who have sort of fallen back a little bit, the Mets. They beat the Rays, so that's a really good team. The Orioles, the Blue Jays, the A's. These are the teams they've kind of been beating up on. I guess we'll kind of get a sense, I would think, Anthony, of how good the Red Sox are in the next couple days.
Yeah, probably so. Credit to anybody who pulls off, 14, 15 games in a row the way they did, whatever it was. But you're right. Like the level of competition during that stretch hasn't been great. So this will be an interesting series, I think, for them. I think they are probably pleased that it comes right before the break. I think maybe a little bit of exposure again for them and their front office is probably a good thing as the deadline approaches. And then for the Dodgers, yeah, it's an opportunity to play a team that's hot and to say, like, okay, we've had some success coming out of the break. Let's put it to the test again against a team that has been actually playing like pretty good baseball. So yeah, this feels like a fun series to go to on a weekend for sure.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. The pitching probables, according to MLB.com, Ranger Suarez for the Red Sox. It says Edgardo Henriquez is listed as starting for the Dodgers. I'm gonna call BS on that. Maybe it's right, but after pitching last night and stumbling through and one out, actually, I don't know that that's going to be the case. By the way, Laura mentions Lance Lynn as another reclamation project that failed for the Dodgers. So
I don't know if that one counts. That was a deadline, and he was just an absolute disaster. But sure, yes, that works. And for Enriquez, there's no way I can't see that actually happening after pitching yesterday. Yeah. But maybe Will Klein, who hasn't pitched in a while and tends to give up runs every time he goes out now. The bullpen is starting to become an issue. It's gonna fix itself out. It's just it's a long season. They're in at the end of July, but they're giving up runs recently.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as a speed bump. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a speed bump more than anything else. So, all right, Anthony's always good to talk to you, man. We'll catch up soon.
All right, man. Sounds good. You guys have a good weekend.
All right, as for everybody else, stick around for the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. That'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Anthony, for Greg, I'm Marcus. We'll see you on Monday, 6:30 to 6:55 on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See ya.
See ya.